Here we are. Game number 1 though is going to have ACCM on the left hand side. We're gonna move him over to the red color. We're gonna remove this as well. And Mr. Yo on the other hand, he's playing on the right hand side over here with Italians, so Dravidians and Italians for ACCM and Mr. Yo respectively. Northwest, southeast respectively for both these guys as well. And we see that Mr. Yo is going for the archer range right away. And he got spotted by ACCM, so ACCM knows exactly what's up. While the red player on the other hand, he's going for a duck over here. He's going for an archer range as well, but he's got the archer range coming up a little bit further up north, right? So it's going to be harder for Mr. Yo to realize about it, at the very least, as early as ACCM has realized about Mr. Yo's archer range. Now the question becomes, what can they really do about that? And it doesn't seem to me like they'll be able to do too much of anything, because even though Mr. Yo went for the archer range over here, it's actually not being producing units. He's got fire galleys, he's got villagers queued up, and he's gonna be on his way to the castle age very soon, while ACCM on the other hand is the only player who's actually going for actual land units right now, and he might be able to get some good damage down. But on the right hand side though, we'll see a villager go down, and the quick walls coming just in time for Mr. Yo with the villager on 1 HP. And you know what, if ACCM had landed on the right hand side, he would have been able to get the villager, but of course it's too much to limit your entire army to a single location just because of the one vill. But those units are going this way. Spearman will end up pushing ACCM away. ACCM is paying attention, and Mr. Yo cannot really remove the villager from here because the scout is still full HP. So even with a hit from the spearman, the scout would still have enough HP, and it seems like the villager's toast, basically. Yeah. ACCM takes the villager down, goes back as well, does end up taking one hit from the spearman. And here comes ACCM. He's got 2 archers. The scout is there, trying to bait the spearman into the archers as well. And he's gonna keep on roaming around, trying to find extra damage elsewhere. While Mr. Yo on the other hand, he's been close to having enough resources to go up to the castle age for quite a while, but he's not managed to get quite there yet. He's still just a little bit too short. Now he's got enough food, but he does not have enough gold. Let's see if ACCM can get some good damage down over here. It's gonna go after the villager right away. Mr. Yo was a little bit too premature in bringing the villager south over here back into the wood line. So we'll see a villager go down over there. That should be the case. Yes, and ACCM does get it. It's unlikely he'll end up getting another villager over here, so he does fail, but he will be on his way to the castle age as well. And Mr. Yo, he did click up a little bit earlier. It's going to be a 45 or 50-second lead to the castle age for Mr. Yo, but it's not going to be too massive. Having lost 2 villagers is quite relevant over here at this stage of the game though already, because ACCM will have a stronger economy to work with, especially after he gets to the castle age. He gets 200 additional wood in addition to the extra wood that he got at the very beginning of the game. So that's going to be 400 resources on top of Mr. Yo. And the extra villages should make it easier for ACCM to keep the eco lead, which is going to put Mr. Yo in a very awkward spot. If we take a look at gather economy time, for instance, ACCM's got more than Mr. Yo by about 23 minutes or so. And once again, once he gets to the castle age, that's going to become even harder for Mr. Yo to catch up to, as the extra resources collected from ACCM are going to go up by 200. So let me take a look at that really quickly. What is it looking like today, right now? About 500 extra resources. So 500 extra resources from ACCM thus far. And once he gets to the castle age, that's going to be 700 extra resources. And that is a huge amount of extra rest to get to in, you know, 8 minutes into the game. 8 minutes and a half into the game. So there we go. Yeah, so they just here from ACCM. Beautiful. Wargali's coming up for him. Wargali's already here for Mr. Yo. Second TC on the way for both these players, with ACCM only now laying the foundations and Mr. Yo already getting the TC up. Because an upgrade on the way now for ACCM as well. Nice landing over here from the red player. He's coming in. Mr. Yu realized about this though, and he's completely walled off. On the right hand side. It came at a cost as well though. 4 villagers getting the walls up over here. 3 AM in Vietnam? Yeah, for sure. So I'm not really sure. I guess it's probably about the time that they will be playing at if they were in Vietnam, and they would be comfortable with that, perhaps. But anyway. We have crossbows right now from ACCM. Mr. Yo's probably going to end up losing a villager over here. ACCM's gotta be careful. That was so close though! 1 HP villager gets away over there, and Mr. Yo will... He does have to go for the TC over here, because if he goes around, the crossbows intercept the villagers, and if he stays over here, he cannot really collect from here as long as the crossbows are around. So the TC is certainly very important over here. There's only 1 skirmisher though, for Mr. Yo to defend himself. And so far, ACCM has done a really good job. He's in a pretty good position. And, you know, we have seen Doubt already go down. We have seen Leary move on, Viper move on. So we have 1 more champion over here. Leary's moved on. ACCM is the remaining Red Bull Wololo former champion over here. That's not played at the decider set, so this is going to define who amongst the former champions will be moving on. So far it's only 2. Nice landing from ACCM. I love that he keeps on putting aggression, besides the fact that he is getting ahead in economy, and he has been going for economy quite a bit. He does have 3 TCs and does still have a 5 worker lead over Mr. Yo. So it's very interesting. Continue control over here as well from ACCM. Doesn't that pulling the fire ship away. That's so the same as well with a low HP 1. He brings the demolition ship, and this could be a good shot, and he's going up to the vills. He could not get them, but he got... Actually, he did end up getting 1 villager over here and 2 fire ships. That was a good demo shot from ACCM. He's bringing another one. Yeah, you know what? He still has the crosses on the right hand side, so he could potentially just park these behind the walls, behind the wood line over here, and push Mr. Yo away from wood over here. So the map control that the ACCM is getting, by virtue of all the pressure he's been putting against him, against Mr. Yo, is really good. On the left hand side, if he plays his cards right, he might be able to take the TC down, or at the very least push villagers away from the woodland over here. Once again, if he plays his cards right, he doesn't end up losing both these villagers over here, so he cannot keep on going for much of anything on the left hand side. And then on the right, I mean, he still has the crossbows, but he's not really using them to zone the villagers away from Mr. Yo. So for the time being, Mr. Yo is gonna be just fine. He's trying to catch up, and he's only 2 villages behind ACCM. However, the red player has almost enough to go up to the Imperial Age, and he was just missing 1 building. He gets the monastery, and up to the Imperial Age he goes. Absolutely fantastic. What is the gather economy time so far? An hour and a half of extra gather economy time already for ACCM. That should represent about 1800 extra resources, which, if you think about it, is basically what it takes to go up to the Imperial Age, and Mysterio does not really have the resources to do so. 40C on the way for ACCM as well, and overall, things are looking great for the red player. While we wait for him to get to the next stage, to the Imperial Age, I'm just going to pour myself some tea. Let's see if you can hear that. ASMR tea pouring. There we go. I've had this by my side for over an hour, and I just couldn't manage to get any so far. Got it now though. Got it. Should be going in favor of ACCM for sure. Yeah. Conversion coming in from Mr. Yo. Not going to make a difference. ACCM will definitely still end up coming out on top over here. The fire ship is going down from Mr. Yo. This one converted from ACCM is going down much faster than ACCM's. Any remaining fire ships might go down to whatever Mr. Yo's got left. So yeah. Nice. Good demo shot over there as well. Yeah, Mysterio might be able to end up pushing these away. Got a cup 13 minutes ago, almost cool enough to drink. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to wait like 10 minutes before I can actually have it. Should have poured it earlier. Anyway, as the Imperial Age gets here from ACCM, we see heavy demolition ship and fast fire ship on the way. There's, in addition to that, chemistry upgrade coming up from ACCM, so could potentially go for Galleon if he wanted to, but I think it's probably going to be for something else. I think it's probably going to be for something more devious. You probably know what I'm talking about. Castle on the way now for ACCM as well. This has been really good so far from the Vietnamese player. There we go. Fantastic. The castle comes out from ACCM, and Mr. Yo still has to wait about 35 seconds to get to the Imperial Age. And ACCM, well, he's just looking so much better with extra military and economy as well. That's another nope landing over there, right there, for Mr. Yo. He lands and he brings the villagers right back up. Nope. But he does manage to get the castle up over here, or at the very least should be able to get the castle up over here, which means that he can go for traps. The difference between this game and the one on the same map from the previous series is that this time around, Mr. Yo can actually target the castle from ACCM from across the water, but it's going to be the other way around too, and ACCM gets the first reach out, and he's going to start targeting the castle from Mr. Yo himself as well. Shipwrights coming in, and fast fire ship from Mr. Yo as well. It might be a little bit too late though. It might be a little bit too late. Docks over here should not stay up for too long. After this castle crumbles from Mr. Yo to ACCM's trebuchets, and notice this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the devious unit I wanted to see. ACCM gets the cannon galleon out. Yeah, after the castle drops over here from Mr. Yo, then the docks are going to follow suit, and without water control and without water presence, Mr. Yo does not stand a chance on this map. ACCM is going to have virtually infinite gold, you know, for the purposes of this game. ACCM is going to have full water control, and with the cannon galleon, he's got basically range to target whatever Mr. Yo goes for over here. I mean, take a look at this. Check this out. That's how much range the cannon over here, the cannon galleon is going to have, right? That is insane. Imagine one on each side. Basically, Mr. Yo all of a sudden cannot really go for much of anything, really. And the castle crumbles. Now the docks are going to follow suit, and ACCM in full beast mode will end up getting the lead in the series over here. Everything seems to point to 160 to 108 population. Mr. Yo, he surely knows the score lead is quite substantial. We are already in the Imperial Age, and Mr. Yo still has not even gotten to his max villager count yet, while ACCM on the other hand is just going for full military production. So Mr. Yo's gotta know if ACCM's not going, or if ACCM is significantly outproducing him on water, then he's surely on a much higher worker count, and he's surely already maxed out his economy, and he's just going for 200 population from this point onwards with full navy units, right? So the only way potentially back for Mr. Yo, would take some sort of miraculous play over here. It's definitely on a Hail Mary right now. But he's just going for villagers, so his economy is at the very least in good shape for him to try and contest water again, but it's gonna be very difficult. There's nothing that he's got access to right now that's going to be any better than what ACCM's got currently. Let's put it that way. Conscription's coming in for ACCM in case his production was not good enough. He's got now Dry Dock. Oh, careening! ACCM did not have careening before. Well, it's a little bit of a big oof, but he's getting it now, so that's going to make it even harder for Mr. Yo to keep on fighting over here. 2-man saw. In the forward castle, Mr. Yo's island as well. Nice shot. The castle's coming up over here. Mr. Yo realizes he cannot really do much about it at all, so he's just bailing. He's going for his own castle. ACCM already has trebuchets, so he could potentially transport these over, and he does. So the 3 trebuchets from ACCM are already forward. They're going to take the TCs down, and very soon, of course, we're going to see even the castle go down over here from Mr. Yo once ACCM realizes about it. And he should know he actually saw the foundations before. Castle's already up. Oh, that was not good though. Now I start taking the trebuchets down. Still 2 left though for the red player. Should be able to get the TC over there and could potentially even add another one. He does actually have a 3rd trebuchet coming up from the left hand side castle. Here we go. DC goes down. ACCM should be able to bring the trebuchets over next and target the castle afterwards. Meanwhile, at the center, yeah, ACCM's in a world of his own right now. Beautiful. There you go. CN should end up getting full water control over here once again. I don't think he ever lost water control, as a matter of fact. Mr. Yo, whatever he's got here, I think that's what he's got left, right? He's got 4 fire ships, that's about it. While ACCM, on the other hand, he does have a good amount of fast fire ships still. He's got heavy demolition ships too. He's going for our ballistas. One more cannon galleon. Because he already has set a foot on Mr. Yo's island, he doesn't need it. He can just push with these. But he could potentially go for a few more. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, so it's fine. Like right now, ACCM's in a position where he can do basically whatever he wants and he's gonna be okay. Except for just walking away from the computer anyway. And yeah, I don't think there is much that Mr. Yo can do over here. He already got a good amount of villages, but he stopped producing, so he's not going to the 130 or so villager count that usually you want to see. Or he might actually have gotten there earlier, but he probably dropped down to 115. And without a strong enough economy to produce as many units as ACCM is able to produce, Mr. Yo simply cannot keep up. So this castle is going down next. Without this one, Mr. Yo is going to be striped away from all fortifications, and there is only 1 TC left over here that is certainly not going to provide enough protections for 116 villagers, and Mr. Yo is probably going to end up losing the vast majority of the arbalesters and the skirmishers over here. As a matter of fact, the moment the castle drops from Mr. Yo, ACCM places another castle himself, but he goes against it now because he is going to try and be more aggressive. I think he's probably going to wait for these units to get cleaned up and go for an even more aggressive castle. So Mr. Yo calls it GG, understandably. It's been over for a little while, and ACCM gets the lead over here 1-0. We'll see what we get for game number 2. Let's go through the achievements before going back and taking a look at the maps once again. I do not remember what the home maps were. Very close to 3 to 2 KD ratio for ACCM, while for economy on the other hand, we do have a stronger economy for ACCM, collecting well over 8,000 extra resources and getting very close to 9,000 extra resources, which is absolutely nuts. Faster to the Imperial Age by quite a lot as well. Quite the lead. And for Society, on the other hand, we see not only a higher villager max count for ACCM, so it seems like Mr. Yo got close to 130 villagers. He just ended up going down to 115 or so in the end again. So yeah, it's not only a higher maximum villager count for ACCM, but also you take a look and he lost 2 villagers throughout the game only, while Mr. Yo, on the other hand, ended up losing 29 villagers throughout the game to ACCM's units. So let's go back. Here we are. For the next game then, what do we get? Mr. Yo is playing with Pulse, ACCM is playing with Vikings, so completely off over here in my prediction. But the reason I did not guess for Vikings, despite them being a very strong water civilization, is because players have by and large ignored the water on this map. And Vikings can still be a very strong civilization on more standard maps, more land-based maps, so they could have still been very good for acclivity. But if they do end up going for water over here, that's going to be definitely a change of pace compared to what we have had before on this map every time in the tournament so far. Like, nobody has ever tried to just go heavily on water, that I remember anyway. And yeah, I guess it's going to be that what ACCM is going for over here. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo playing with Pulse is just going to try and make a play for land. Going for water over here I don't think will be any good for Mr. Yo, given the fact that ACCM with Vikings already gets a discount on Navy production. So it's already 15% cheaper Navy production for ACCM right now. And good unit control. He ends up blocking the scout over there for the sea tower to take down the scout. And that's going to be first blood. Strong opening for ACCM. He's looking absolutely great. Could it be that ACCM has been kind of nerfed due to lag, and now it turns out he's actually insane? This is the first time we see him play in a LAN setting, and all of a sudden he just beasts out and beats the crap out of everyone. I don't know. Mr. Yo, we have seen him several times in the past, so we cannot use the lag argument anymore. Two galleys from Mr. Yo, ACCM. Some 3 galleys himself, and he's gonna keep on going for more. He's producing from both docks. He's actually gone for a second dock. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo, not so much. So ACCM will want to get full water control over here. You know what? I have said this many times on this map. Shorefish might not be the best source of food for fishing ships, but it does not matter necessarily, because it's still going to be extra economy. So if ACCM gets water control over here, goes pretty heavily into fishing ships, right? That's still going to be a significant amount of extra resources he'll be getting in for free. Castle Age is on the way now for Mr. Yo, significantly earlier compared to ACCM, but ACCM will go up to the Castle Age on a stronger economy because of the fishing ships. And not too much later compared to Mr. Yo. It's probably going to be a 40-second lead in favor of Mr. Yo, so ACCM should be able to click up very soon. Make that a 50-second lead. He's using the market right now to try and click up. Now he's lacking a little bit of gold. Oh boy. Okay, it's gonna be a minute. Okay, there we go. Almost a minute of a head start to the Castle Age for Mr. Not too much, probably like 55 seconds instead, but still, ACCM's pressure on water is great. If he ends up taking the dock down over here, he'll get full water control, so he will be able to utilize the crossings over here, uncontested. He will be able to put pressure from water against Mr. Yo, right? And especially in later stages, like in the Imperial Age, we could see cannon galleons reach even further down the land. Then in addition to that, of course, there's the eco factor, so ACCM is investing pretty heavily into the fishing ships. It's going to take a little longer to pay out because of the fact that we have short fish as opposed to deep fish to collect from, but still it seems to be like it shouldn't matter too much. And ACCM is still going to get away with this. Or in any case, this should be able to pay off somewhat soon. Nice. As Castle Age is here, Mysterio has the second TC and the third TC on the way. He knows if ACCM gets full water control over here that he needs to go for extra TCs if he wants to keep up with the economy. Now, there is a different way he could have gone about this. He could have just gone for full pressure. But the thing about Poles is they are an incredibly strong civilization if you get to a castle, if you research lack the privileges, and you have a strong enough economy to sustain multiple stable production. Even with a gold discount, you still need a good amount of farmers, for instance. And that's going to require a good economy in general. So Mysterio going for extra TCs over here just to keep up at the very least with worker count is understandable for sure. But that's also going to set him behind, because if he had gone forward and if he had tried to put pressure over here, he would prevent, for instance, ACCM from getting to the Imperial Age himself as well. And because Vikings get free will barrier and free handcard, their own economy is so strong that more often than not, we see in kind of even waters, both civilizations kind of booming away. The Vikings get to the Imperial Age earlier. So this is kind of risky what Mr. Yo is going for. This does not really guarantee getting a lead in economy because of the extra upgrades and the fishing ships from ACCM. I guess we'll see how this works out. Can the tower be destroyed? I mean, it can. It's just not easy. It's pretty tanky. And it's very strong early on. I think it's also pretty long range too. Yeah. 40C on the way for Mr. Yo. Now we're talking. He's completely committing to his economy. Well, he should know how to boom. There we go, wheelbarrows coming in for Mr. Yo as well. Down the south. Yeah, we'll see an extra TC coming up for ACCM. The third one for him. To be fair, ACCM's not really gone too heavily into fishing ships though. He's gotten 6 and that's about it. He's kind of running out of shore fish near the dock, so it's going to get a little bit more inefficient as the time goes on. Hey Gentini, hi. Hello there to you as well. Hope you're doing alright. Hope everything's going well for you. And boy, it's been 9 hours almost, and it just feels like it's gone by so fast because the games have been so good. I'm so happy I was able to cast this tournament. It's amazing. I mean, Heidelberg's so sick here. I imagine. Shantini, but is the audience allowed into the castle today, or is that just for the finals? I'm pretty curious because I don't think I have seen any audience shots from the clean feed. Regardless though, a little bit of pressure coming in from ACCM's. Got some knights over here. Not the best unit for the Vikings for sure, but this is more than strong enough to get a few villagers, a few stray villagers here and there. Oh, okay. In a public viewing. I saw that some people were organizing public viewing events for anybody who didn't manage to get a ticket. But do you have a ticket for the main thing, for the castle? I'm curious. It's still all cool, of course, if you don't have one, but I'm just curious. Mostly because I wasn't really sure when it is that the audience is allowed. But anyway, Mr. Yo, he was making a play for the left-hand side over here, where ACCM already has gotten a TC. And then on the right-hand side, up in the north, It seems like ACCM is going to be the first player getting some presence over here as well. He's got a spearman. He's sending a villager over to get some houses over there. So very soon, once he gets the resources to go for ATC or potentially a castle, he's got the stone for a castle. We could see ACCM try to get control of the north. You can't go in the castle this weekend, but we met almost all of them outside. To have a ticket for next week. Was sold out in 30 seconds. G. Yeah. But that's cool still. That's cool. So, it's going to be only for next weekend, the tickets that they were selling, I see. Yeah, I was curious about that. Thank you. But it's great that you were able to meet the guys anyway. It's fantastic. Yesterday, Tata came to the pub. Nice. Mr. Yo, he's going for it, guys. He got the castle up. He's got Slack the privileges on the way. And he's sending a bunch of villagers over the right-hand side to see if he can get control of this. Because ACCM's got control of the left-hand side by getting a castle in front of the goal, it's not really possible for Mr. Yo to get to here unless he's able to get past the castle with either rams or cherishes in the Imperial Age. But on the right-hand side, Mr. Yo could very well end up getting the castle up over here. Now, mind you, ACCM's got almost enough resources to go for another castle. And if he sends a bunch of villagers over here, he might end up pushing Mr. Yo away. You know, Mr. Yo doesn't really have the resources for a castle, so he's going to go for ATC at best. Feels so funny for nerds in a small room watching AoE, and we converted a lot of random people to watch as well. Yeah, that sounds great. You know, I always think there are so many people still yet to discover Age of Empires or rediscover Age of Empires, right? Those who used to play this game or any games of this franchise in the past and do not know that the game is still alive, right? That's why you have to share my video with all your friends, especially those who played the game before and do not know that these things are happening. These things are taking place. Anyway, Imperial Age will be here for ACCM. He does click up to the Imperial Age much earlier compared to Mr. Yo, and then the blue player on the other hand. Blue player is not going up to the Imperial Age anytime soon. Instead, it's just going to be full night production. This is what you want to see Poles go for. But what did I say? If Mr. Yo did not go for aggression, ACCM gets to the Imperial Age earlier, and once he's up, he can go for all the upgrades for the pikemen. He can get chieftains. He can get, although to be fair, that doesn't really require the Imperial Age. And he can get potentially even Arbalestus, right? That'd be very good as well. Trebuchets, whatever he wants to go for. He could go for in the Imperial Age as he gets there. We'll see what he has in store. It seems like it's going to be pikemen for the most part. Let's take a look. Yeah, he's not gotten chieftain yet. Well, I think actually. Just going to take a look at this really quickly. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, he's not gotten it yet. Then on the right hand side, Mr. Yo gets a castle as well. I found my old CD for Age of Kings. Good old times. Oh man, I always regretted one day back in like 2012, 2011 or so. I saw an Age of Empires 2, the gold edition CD at a store for pretty cheap. But I said, no, I don't need to buy this. It had the Age of Kings and Age of Conquerors. Little did I know I was going to come back to the franchise a few years later. And I've not found it since. Like, it was closed as well. Like, it was sealed in the box. I should have gotten it. Regardless though, Mr. Yo is knocking on ACCM's doors, trying to get in, and he does come in through the north, and ACCM's got the pikeman already at hand to defend himself with, so he should be fine. But to be fair, Mr. Yo's population is insane. 113 workers and 55 military units. He's got Obuk coming in as well, so it's not just going to be pikemen. And you know what, the Obuk will take care of pikemen just fine, and without arbalesters, ACCM doesn't really have anything to go against that. And to be fair, Mr. Yo could potentially go for crossbows himself if he gets to the Imperial Age. That'll be arbalesters. Here we go. Beautiful. The raids coming in from Mr. Yo are just deadly. They were good only as long as you didn't play multiplayer, else there would be people without patch with 1.0A, 1.0Z, 1.0D, or 30 ping. Yeah. I'm not really sure. I did some research for my YouTube video about the history of Age of Empires. You can take a look at it by doing an exclamation mark video. And well, ACCM actually calls the GG over here, but we saw the lead from Mr. Yo get larger and larger by the minute for the last few minutes. So ACCM does call it over here. Mr. Yo equalizes the series. We'll see who ends up coming out on top over here when we take a look at game number 3. So yeah, I was doing some research for it, and I don't know, it seems like people had an alright experience as long as you played on the pertinent platforms, and obviously that would also require some, you know, I think the players need to have the same patch to play on the same platform. And I'm talking about Game Zone back in the day, potentially Game Ranger Bully later on. But anyway, I digress. Better than 3 to 2 KD ratio for Mr. Yo, approaching 5 to 3, very close to it. Meanwhile, for economy, a stronger economy for Mr. Yo. Society, a higher worker count for Mr. Yo towards the end of the game, as well as max villager count that's higher than ACCM's as well. So, game number 3 is coming up in a moment. Alright, we are jumping into game number 3 then. The tiebreaker over here to see who's gonna move on to the quarterfinals to be played tomorrow starting 12 GMT. Versus who's gonna get knocked out of the tournament over the end. Yeah, I think, wasn't Gaming Zone, like, it didn't shut down. I think it dropped support for CD-ROM games, right? In like June 2006, if I'm not mistaken. Well, from what I remember from my research for the video anyway, but yeah, well, there you go. This is what we get. The community kept the games alive for so long. 2013 HD edition, 2017, 2019 actually HD edition, sorry, Age of Empires 4, and 2022, 25 years after Age of Empires 1 came out, we have Red Bull Wololo Legacy, which is just amazing. Let's go back to 1x speed. What to expect over here? Mr. Yo already went for the second TC from the get-go. This is extremely important if he's ever to get ahead in economy against ACCM, who's got a civilization that gets cheaper villagers. So if he just plays standards 1 TC, ACCM should be getting ahead no matter what. If Mr. Yo plays 2 TCs, there is a possibility that ACCM might be able to suppress this if he goes to the Castle Age somewhat soon, now that he knows about the second TC. That's certainly going to be a higher priority, but if he does get to the Castle Age sometime soon, and he starts putting pressure, potentially getting the TC down with some siege, or at the very least pushing the villagers away from here, he might be able to suppress Mr. Yo's economy before it gets too out of hand. But Mr. Yo's mission in this game is gonna be protecting his double TC economy over here for as cheaply as possible, and try to maximize the value of having the ability to double produce from the get-go. So ACCM will realize about the second TC and will go up to the Castle Age very soon. As you can see, he's gathering the resources to do so. He's just stockpiling. And Mr. Yo, he's gonna be later to the Castle Age, but he's going to have a much stronger economy once he gets to now. How much stronger? That's what we will see. So far, Mr. Yo has managed to get only a 2 villager lead over ACCM. By the time ACCM gets to the Castle Age, that's going to increase to at least, at the very least, 12 extra villagers for Mr. Yo. But it depends how much longer it takes for ACCM to click out to the Castle Age. It could potentially be even a little bit stronger than that for Mr. Yo. Like, for instance, right now the 2 villager lead is potentially extended into 3 extra villages, which could potentially extend into 15 extra villagers by the time ACCM gets up. And of course, Mr. Yo also wants to go out to the Castle Age himself so that he can add either a 30C or that he can add a potentially a castle to keep on defending himself and starts going into keep checks, which is a very standard transition as well for Cumans. 2 villages down already though in the village from ACCM's archers over here. Mr. Yo kind of loses half his lead already, as he's only 2 villages ahead and ACCM is already on his way to the Castle Age. The community played a bit dirty though, applying game hacks to prevent running on other game servers. Other than, game servers other than Gaming Zone. Right. Man, long history. Long history. I wish I'd have stuck around for those years as well. But yeah, back in 2005, from 2000 and let's say 2002 through 2008 or so, my entire experience with Age of Empires 2 revolved around going to super cafes and playing with friends over LAN. We were all very new, so it didn't really yield much improvement, so to say. Either that, or playing on my own computer, just Black Forest against the AI. Alright, second TC's on the way for ACCM as he gets to the Castle Age. He did manage to get a few villages from Mr. Yo down so far, and Mr. Yo should be able to go out to the Castle Age, but his lead is not quite as big as it could have been, for sure. Only about 11 extra villages right now compared to ACCM. Oh, and is that another villager? I think this might have been stuck though from earlier. The villager's not sinking into the ground. Yeah, I think it's probably stuck. Regardless though. Yeah, it seems to me like the Castle Age coming in from Mr. Yo will still allow him to retain a villager lead, which is fantastic because if we take a look at the gather economy time so far, it's actually being higher for ACCM. Wait a moment, what? How is the gather economy time higher for ACCM when Mr. Yo has had a bunch of extra villages for so much longer? It's just gotta be worker efficiency that's to blame over here. It's not actually. Oh, it is. 76% versus 72% for ACCM and Mr. Yo respectively. It makes sense. So ACCM gets a 4 siege workshop. He's got a Manuel out over here, and Mr. Yo on the other hand, he's got a siege workshop coming up over here. Obviously this cannot really do much of anything against the Manuel in the village, but once he gets to the Castle Age, he'll be able to go for his own Manuels. Good pressure from ACCM. He's got the camels. In addition to all this pressure he's got coming out from here, plus the fact that he should be able to get the hill advantage and keep on pressuring the TC from a higher elevation. He also has a 30C on the way on the back, and he's just finished building it. He's gonna start collecting some stones, so we'll see ACCM slowly but steadily collect the resources towards going up to the Imperial Age. Sorry, what am I talking about? Towards going for a castle. While Mr. Yo instead, he's going for pikemen. He's going for squires. He's got the 14 upgrade on the way. And up until this point, he's managed to hold on to his villager lead, but it's so small. Only one extra worker, plus the fact that he's got the TC garrisoned over here and so many villagers idling right now. ACCM's economy is actually looking stronger, so the win condition over here that I was talking about for Mr. Yo, with getting away with the double TC and contested play over here, has not panned out, and mostly because of ACCM's incredible pressure so far. If it weren't because of ACCM's amazing pressure, even getting villagers down in the village, Mr. Yo would be in a much better position. His economy would have been significantly more efficient. He would have been significantly higher in worker count than he is right now, thus boasting a stronger lead against ACCM, or actually a lead at all. And he probably would have been able to go for the third TC as soon as he got to the castle age. Meanwhile, ACCM, he's managed to catch up. He's managed to surpass Mr. Yo at 65 versus 61 workers. ACCM's got more military units right now to work with as well, but he's gotta be careful. The losses are very expensive over here. Does not losing 2 magnus over there. The military count is not quite as high for ACCM anymore, as he even loses the armor elephant, all the siege. And the red player gets taken down over here. It was going to be very difficult for him to try to go for military and economy at the same time. If you take a look at the idle TC time from ACCM, given the fact that he's got 3 TCs and even a 4 TC on the way, 40 seconds is extremely low. So he has been prioritizing villager production, which means that the fact that he was able to get any damage over here done forward is basically just a cherry on top for ACCM. He's gotten away with this, and he probably shouldn't, and Mr. Yo has been struggling because of it. So right now, ACCM is still looking stronger. He does manage to get a 10 worker lead up until this point. Remember that he's gonna pay fewer resources for each villager he goes for as well, so this is not quite as expensive as it is for other civilizations to just go full economy. But also, he's got enough military that he should be able to defend himself against whatever Mr. Yo goes for. He's got cavalry archers, camels. The camels, for the most part, are going to be the most important thing against the knights over here. Mr. Yo is getting away with a little bit too much damage over here, but if ACCM brings the units back, he should be able to defend himself. Regardless, though, the game is not over, not even close. Resources for Mr. Yo are looking great. For gather economy time, he's still kept on falling behind compared to ACCM, but because ACCM's stronger eco investments, despite the discount for Hindustanis, Mr. Yo did manage to save more resources, so he's got enough gold to click out to the Imperial Age, for instance, but he just does not have the foods for the time being, he cannot go for it. Mr. Yo is collecting stone quite heavily as well, so very soon, he is going to be in a position to go for a castle, he's going to be in a position to go up to the Imperial Age, and if ACCM does not manage to start saving some resources to go up to the Imperial Age himself as well, that's something that's certainly going to put a lot of pressure from Mr. Yo. And ACCM, he knows about that. He has played against humans in the past so many times. You know, if you just cannot keep on putting pressure against the humans, they'll eventually beat you to the Imperial Age. That's just the way it goes. Even if, interestingly enough, ACCM did end up getting a higher gather economy time compared to Mr. Yo, this is what he's expecting to see from the Bull player. Interestingly enough, Mr. Yo has the score lead right now. I guess some of that's probably going to be due to scouting. A little bit. Yeah. Beautiful. Stone collection from ACCM is picking up right now. He's going to be able to go for a castle very soon himself. As will Mr. Yo. And the Bull player is going to keep on going for more and more knights. Utilizing the resources he had before, and that seemed to be close enough to allow him to go out to the Imperial Age, but now he's just going to go for full military production instead, which is very interesting to see. 86 population should be enough for him to spam a good amount of stables. And he does manage to get some villages down over here. ACCM, on the other hand, he's got bloodlines coming in. It's gonna be extremely important for the cavalry archers, going up to 70 HP. There we are. Market in the way for ACCM. Interesting. Is he not going to go for a castle at all? He's getting raided by Mr. Yo. I think a castle would actually be the right choice over here, over selling the stone, for instance. Do you know why else? I guess he can just sell the wood, rather. Yeah, that's probably why he was going for the market anyway. There's a castle on the way for Mr. Yo, and he's gonna go for the castle further forward. But here comes ACCM with a counter castle himself. Can he clutch it up? ACCM needs to delete the archer ranges though. This is an awful position. He does not have enough surface area over here to surround the foundation, so he does end up deleting one of the archer ranges. But Mr. Yo will get away with this castle first. Taking a look at both these castles' production, or actually completion percentage, Mr. Yo gets the castle up so much earlier compared to ACCM, and now the red player is going to start losing a bunch of villages. You know what? There's only about 12 extra villages for ACCM compared to Mr. Yo. So this is some significant damage Mr. Yo is doing to ACCM's economy, and even though he doesn't really manage to get too many villages down, still going to reduce the villager lead to only 9 extra villages for ACCM, and this is remarkable for Mr. Yo. He's got 2 siege workshops coming up forward as well, so we're gonna see rams coming in. He already had the first one, so we're gonna see petards coming in from both players. At the very least, that should be the case. Mr. Yo is not going for it for whatever reason. I guess it's just gonna try and focus on the ram push. Wow, Mr. Yo's got extra raids coming in on the right-hand side with knights. Here we go. This is a great raid though from Mr. Yo on the right hand side. It seems like ACCM did not realize about this at all, because all these villages went down and he didn't do anything about it. Not even tried to garrison. 13 villages down already from Mr. Yo on ACCM's gold over here. Our players should be able to clean this up though, and the game is extremely even at this point in time. Nobody's got the resources to go up to the Imperial Age, but we have the same population from both. And this is so close! This is so close for the final game of the day. We are certainly going with a bang over here. Let's take a look, as now Mr. Yo is going for Cat Ram, which is allowed on his civilization in the Castle Age because of a bonus for Cumans. They can go for Cat Ram in the Castle Age, but it seems like it's going to work out really well. The castle's going down from ACCM, and it's a great position for Mr. Yo. Now, he's got momentum. With the castle going down over there, there's really too much that ACCM can do to defend against the castle over here. He's bringing camels, he's got the cavalry archers over there, but Mr. Yo, he's got knights on the way. He's gonna be able to take care of the villagers over here. The rams are still gonna be extremely effective, potentially at taking the TC down over here very soon, as ACCM deletes the archer range over here in order to prevent the rams from getting to the TC. He does end up preventing his production from being as strong as it could be for cavalry archers, that is. That's the second archer range he's deleted so far. Beautiful. I'm not sure if they did something to AI pathing, but they'll seem getting stuck and ignore him more often than in non-DE versions. Oh yeah, they've done a bunch of things to pathing. It should be a lot better in certain situations, and it should be... It's going to have side effects as well. I don't think there's a perfect pathfinding method at all, so everything is going to have its shortcomings. But yeah, they tamper with pathfinding several times, I'm very sure. Go. Good defense from Mr. Yo. He's retained the score lead. However, ACCM is going after the castle with armor elephants. And Mr. Yo could have gone after the armor elephants with the rams, but he does not seem to be paying attention over here. Otherwise, he would have been able to get the armor elephants down, or at the very least some of these. Yeah. Up in the north. There's another castle up from Mr. Yo. And the ACCM is not realizing again! Same situation as we saw in the south goal. ACCM's reaction over here a little bit too slow. Mr. Yo is starting to get a little bit more control up in the north over here, but unfortunately he already lost the castle at the center, so it's just been such a back and forth. On the left hand side, we have some stone miners over here from ACCM kind of trap, and then down south, ACCM was trying to go for the raids, but ends up getting pushed back, and once again, the game is neck and neck. 6-3 villager kills from Mr. Yo is absolutely amazing. We see the raids coming in as well from Mr. Yo as well again. And ACCM seems to be kind of falling apart over here. He's kind of falling apart at the seams, while Mr. Yo seems to be in a much better position himself. Yeah, it's big, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Good trade over here from ACCM though at the center, so that's fantastic. And then on the right hand side, there's a Mr. Yo coming in as well. Roaming around, trying to find more exposed economy, and this could be extremely vulnerable for ACCM. Let's see if Mr. Yo realizes. There's too much happening right now for the players to pay attention everywhere. There is a center trade over here Mr. Yo does not want to take. He's got the raids going up in the north as well. It's a castle for ACCM coming up, but now Mr. Yo is coming in. Let's see how long it's gonna take for ACCM. That's instant reaction. The same tranquility that allowed Mr. Yo to pay attention to the knights again allowed ACCM to realize about the raid before it happened. So we see only one villager go down over here. He's going to pay the price, but the rest of the villagers will get back to the TC safely. And now Mr. Yo is gonna be the first player to click up to the Imperial Age. He's managed to save just enough resources. ACCM is not looking that great in that regard. He doesn't really have anywhere near enough to go up to the Imperial Age himself. And you know what? Since Mr. Yo is already ahead in military count, he's gotten a better KD, he's gotten better eco KD as well. Mr. Yo has gotten a much better value out of his own units. ACCM is basically in a world of pain right now. He's got more cavalry archers on the way, but does not seem to me like it's going to make anywhere near enough of a difference. Especially after Mr. Yo gets to the Imperial Age and he gets access to Cavalier. Whatever ACCM wants to go for, he's able to go for in the castle is just going to be absolutely insufficient. Plus the fact that Mr. Yo can go for trebuchets from the castle once he gets to the next stage and potentially go after the castle from ACCM. The TCs, right? This one is extremely low HP. Means that Mr. Yo is in a much better spot and is going to stay in a much better spot for the foreseeable future. And take a look at that. ACCM ends up losing a bunch of extra villagers over here, so Mr. Yo keeps on piling on the damage against ACCM, and the red player seems to be completely powerless in this situation. And Mr. Yo, he's got another wave of units in the wood line from ACCM. The red player cannot do anything. He's got all his cavalry archers grouped up and can only defend one place at a time. There's too many fires to put out over here, and ACCM is finally cleaning out these units down south, but this economy is in shambles. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if ACCM called the GG when Mr. Yo got to the Imperial Age, but given the fact that this is the last chance for ACCM to make it into the quarterfinals over here, and this is the largest Age of Empires 2 tournament in recent history, yeah, it's, you know, it's certainly going to warrant ACCM try harder as much as he can and potentially sticking to the castle age a little bit longer over here and trying, but honestly, you cannot blame him if he calls a GG over here because the game is very good for Mr. Yo right now, and ACCM on the other side, of course, is looking extremely precarious. Probably end up losing the TC over here, and once we get the Cavalier upgrade, once again, there's nothing from the Castle Age that the ACCM can utilize against Cavalier over there. Except for a very large amount of Cavalry Archers, but of course, once again, that's only something that the ACCM can make use of in one place at a time. He cannot split this army up, which means that Mr. Yo can just split his Cavalier, go forward, strike multiple places, and ACCM simply cannot defend enough over here. 122 villagers even picked from Mr. Yo so far, and the TC goes down. The villagers go down over there, and ACCM, miraculously enough, manages to keep up in population overall, but do not make the mistake of thinking that ACCM is, you know, in the same position as Mr. Yo. It's very, very one-sided right now, and ACCM is doing nothing but surviving right now. The surrounding over here doesn't end up working out for Mr. Yo, reducing the cavalry archers though. It was, I'm positive, north of 40 cavalry archers for ACCM, or probably about 35 cavalry archers before going down to only 17. And that is not enough to hold on against Cavalier, even as a single group anymore. So Mr. Yo now can go around with the Cavalier and basically do anything he wants, and ACCM will simply have to just watch and do it. And he cannot really do too much over here. Of course, if Mr. Yo decides to take a fight under the castle in a choke point, he's gonna get cleaned up. And when he's fighting with 5 Cavalier, but if Mr. Yo brings his main force over here, that's not going to be too easy for actually ACCM to fight against. Choices over here from Mr. Yo as well. Paladin upgrade on the way for the Bull player. Man coming in as well for Yo. One more raid, and another one bites the dust over here from ACCM. The villager count is just crumbling. 96 right now. He's lost 136 villagers throughout the game to Mr. Yo's raids, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be the end of it. And of course, the Cavalier was not strong enough for Mr. Yo, which in my opinion, it was strong enough. Paladin is going to be extremely difficult for ACCM to counter with Castle Ichinus. Nothing he can go for right now is going to be strong enough. He's going for Gulam. I think that might have been a misclick. Gulams will not really do anything against cavalry units. They are very good against range units. They are like eagles, but even though they have a spear, just like eagles, they are pretty poor against cavalry. And about 50 seconds for Mr. Yo to get to Paladin, and ACCM managed to collect himself. Managed to somewhat stabilize situation back home, but this is not great still. He's lost already a lot of ground. Mr. Yo is actually going and stealing ACCM's farms up in the north. Yeah, and ACCM is going to get further and further cornered, as Mr. Yo very soon will have enough resource to go for another castle, and if he goes for the castle on the right hand side towards the south, ACCM doesn't really have the means to come back into this position anymore. And here comes Paladin from Mr. Yo. And GG's coming in as ACCM realizes there's an ability to react to the Paladin with Castle Ichinus. So Mr. Yo, with the final score of 2-1, moves on to the quarterfinals, and ACCM meets the end of the road for Red Bull Wololo, but now without giving a fight. Getting to the top 12 is still a very good standing over here for a player who's never made it into this kind of tournament before. Well played, ACCM. Let's go and take a look at the achievements really quickly. What do we get? For military, a 1.08 KD for Mr. Yo over here. It's a little bit higher than 1-1, but compared to ACCM, it didn't really matter because his economy was so much stronger over here as well, even if ACCM was getting somewhat more cost-effective trades. So it was a little bit of a power play from Mr. Yo, and he got away with it. So for economy, we see also about 12,000 extra resources collected for Mr. Yo, and for society, there's also a very nice villager max count over here for Mr. Yo. But most importantly, significantly more villagers towards the end of the game. And not only that, he ended up losing only 64 villagers, while ACCM, on the other hand, ended up losing throughout the game 132 vills, sorry, to Mr. Yo's raids, which is just absolutely bonkers. Well done